Y'all, I have to read this to you guys. Okay, this is from Sarah Jakes Roberts' book, Don't Settle for Safe. And this passage right here, it says, I'm learning that surviving painful experiences is good, but the danger comes when we don't take time to actually recover. It's surviving a broken bone and then choosing to live with a perpetual limp rather than undergoing surgery to fix it. Eventually, you can learn to function in such a way that won't exacerbate the break, but the rest of your body has to overcompensate to make up for the immobility of that broken bone. Before you know it, you've robbed yourself of the recovery that would restore the full function of your body. Now, if you've been walking with the Lord, truly walking with the Lord, you would know that forgiveness is a huge part of our faith journey. And there are things that are more difficult to forgive than others, but it is something that we have to come to a place to do. And a side note, forgiveness does not excuse the hurt that was done to you, but it releases you from the bondage of the pain and power that it has over you. With that being said, it's one thing to forgive, right? Because I'm guilty of it too. Like, there are certain people that I'm like, I forgive them, and let's just forget about them now. But what I'm really saying is that I've forgiven them, but I am fearful to recover from that pain, because to recover from that pain means that I need to put my attention back on the harm that was done. And for certain things, to put my attention back to that moment, it almost takes me back to that place, right? But greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. And so when that happens, the Lord reminds me that he is with me, right? He's going to guide me through this process. He's not, he doesn't want to force me to forgive them, right? But he wants me to be free from that, because he literally died so that I can be free in him. And so reading this passage and how Sarah uses like an actual broken bone as an example, like you can probably live your life with a broken bone or whatever, say it's your ankle or something. Eventually you'll be able to tolerate that pain, but now you are, like she says, you are exacerbating all the other parts of your body to make up for the immobility of the broken bone, right? And so like it says at the end, before you know it, you've robbed yourself of the recovery that would restore the full function of your body. And so when it comes to forgiveness, like our hearts is what we are robbing of recovery when we don't like fully tend to it, when we don't do the surgical work needed to get that rooted pain out of your heart. Because what happens when you don't heal the root of what's causing your heart to still hurt, then you start bearing fruits that are like anger, and anger can grow into something more, like, you know what I'm saying? The full function of your heart is to love. And so if you're not doing the work required to surgically heal your heart, then you are not able, even if you wanted to live out the heart's function of loving. And what is the two greatest commandments that God gives us? To love God with our whole heart and to love our neighbor as ourselves. So not doing that work within us, we aren't able to love ourselves, we aren't able to love our neighbors, and we aren't able to truly love God. And in loving God, we would trust him wholeheartedly, right? And so there's a whole thing, like, recovery is different than forgiveness, or shall I say, the hurt and pain that you have experienced, that you've held on to, takes more than just to forgive whoever caused it, or even forgive yourself. It's to recover from that. It's to recover and heal through that. And we get to do that with God. We don't have to do it on our own. We can't do it on our own. We really have to lean in on his strength. That way He can mold us into who He has purposed us to be, which is someone that loves, someone that is able to give grace and show mercy and be a reflection of who He is, you know? And so yeah, that's it for today.